All right, so we got what happened after the Horus Heresy. This video is by weshammer. Let's get right into it, man.
Even people that are brand new to the lore of Warhammer 40K
Like
have
me.
at least heard of the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, I
as
have.
It's perhaps the most defining event in the entirety of the timeline. It was where 9 of the Emperor's sons became corrupted by chaos and dragged humanity into the bloodiest civil war it had ever seen.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, in quick pause, whatever. Listen, this video is 45 minutes long. Make sure you guys get your snacks and everything, man, because it's a very long video. Now, to be honest with you, right, as like a new, Warhammer new booty, like the Horus Heresy, whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I can only imagine, like I'm surprised. Like I know now that like Henry Cavill, he's doing something with like Warhammer for like Amazon, like video and stuff like that. But bro, I wish there would have been like a huge just like Warhammer movie. Like I wish there was like a big movie just called Warhammer. And then like you just have like the Horus Heresy, where it's just Horus and and his brothers versus just the Emperor and like all the good guys or whatever. Like I just wish there was like just a big just blockbuster, I don't know, like Marvel level movie where that would be happening. Obviously, like that movie will cost. I mean, bro, that movie would cost like what, like $2 trillion and like 2 pennies. But like, at the end of the day, I feel like still that bro, that would have been like a blockbuster movie. I would definitely go to that, even though if I didn't even know about like Warhammer, whatever. Like at the time, I think I would still go to something like that.
Most people also know that after they failed to break the Imperial Palace, the traitors would end up fleeing for their lives into the Eye of Terror. But this is where a lot of people's knowledge ends. Most people don't actually know what happened next, what the traitors encountered on the other side of the eye, and what they would have to do in order to survive. As it turns out, a place called the Eye of Terror would shockingly not actually be a cool and peaceful place to live. The reality was that they had fled from one war directly into another, a brutal chaos civil war that lasted for hundreds of years in comparison to the 7 of the Horus Heresy. It was a war set in hell, where each of the Chaos Legions tore into each other in rampant orgies of violence and excess. This shadowy and often overlooked period of history was known as the Legion Wars, and if I may quote the Thousand-Son sorcerer Iskandar Kalyan, it was a war that, quote, raged across the eye with a fury that made a mockery of the Horus Heresy. But what were the Legion Wars all about? Who started them, and what caused them to finally end? What happened to each of the legions right after they crossed the threshold into the Eye of Terror, and what role did they play in the Chaos Civil War?
Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, right? It's so crazy because like obviously like the Emperor is the Emperor, like like he's legit like the number one. He's like the GOAT. But I'm gonna be honest with you, right? If I'm being completely real with you, and I do know that like that the chaos is just like this huge just like power or whatever, and like I'm gonna be real. The fact that Horus was able to, first of all, the fact that Horus was able to like manipulate, not really manipulate, but the fact that he was able to convince 9 of his brothers to like you, because bro, there's only 18 of them. Bro, he legit like, bro, he finessed half of the team. Well, I don't want to say finesse. He convinced half of the family to be on the side, really, to go up against like the Emperor, and the other 9 and the other like half. And to be honest with you, bro, the fact that that Horus went, I guess you could say toe to toe with the Emperor, man, it's just crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you, yo, the Horus. I'm gonna give you a little bit of respect on that one. I'll give you some respect. Let me give you some respect.
Perhaps most importantly, who were the winners and losers? Well, in this video, we're going to be getting into all that.
Oh, there is none. There is no winners or losers. There is no winner. No, like this is Warhammer. Like even if you think something's a win, at the end of the day, there was a big loss. So there is no winners or no losers in this franchise at all. That's what I learned. I'm gonna stop pausing it. I know I'm yapping.
As there's a lot to talk about, but a quick note before we get into it. Although this is one of those time periods that's definitely an important piece of lore that played a huge role into shaping the Chaos Legions into the heretics we know today, Games Workshop has not given us a single concise source that details the Legion Wars in their entirety. In doing research for this video, I had to dig through a ton of novels, codexes, and background books for references big and small in order to piece it all together.
Yo, weshammer, bro. You have all my respect, brother. You have all my respect. Bro, this man weshammer, bro, he was deep in the trenches. And each novel, looking for, bro, like, I'm going to be honest with you, yo. Everybody that's watching it right now, man, go to weshammer's channel in the description and go give him a big subscribe, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. That's fire. Hey, the fact that he did his research to this, bro, You gotta respect it. You gotta
It's
respect
honestly
it.
kind of like trying to learn history through Dark Souls weapon descriptions. So out of the 50 or 60 books I ended up searching through, the ones here on screen were the ones that ended up having actual usable information.
50 books?
Check any of them out for yourself. Likewise, this video is going to contain spoilers for the Talon of
course.
Horus novel specifically, but that will be near the end of the video, and I'll let you know when it's coming.
Okay.
Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's dive headfirst into the grim.
Let's get into it.
A quick shout out to this video's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus.
Yo, weshammer, get your bag, bro. Hey, listen, bro. Listen, you got bills to pay. I got some bills to pay. Everybody that's watching, they got bills to pay too, bro. See, everything costs some bills. I understand, bro. Get your money, bro. Right? Listen, you're not no complaining over here, but listen, while he promotes his stuff, I gotta promote my stuff as well, bro. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed. If you guys are new, shout out to you for actually watching. Make sure you have your snacks and stuff like that. Shout out to you for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Yo, I got a Twitch, twitch.tv/KingIndy with 2 Y's at the bottom of the screen, just in case you guys need like some visual help or whatever. Other than that, that's really all I got for like promotion wise. And yeah, man, thank you guys so much. Yo, shout out to Battle Chicken for becoming a member for the channel, by the way. Shout out to you, brother. And let's get right into it.
Full-length faction-specific campaigns, PvP arena battles, salvage runs, guild raids, monthly special events, and new stuff getting added all of the time. If you haven't started playing Tacticus yet, now is the perfect opportunity to
I got the
download
TV
game
playing over
for
there.
free using my link in the description. When you do, you can use my code WES1124
I'm gonna try not to pause so
to
much
receive
because like it's
1,000
like a
gold,
45-minute
50
video,
energy,
and I know this video's gonna be like past an hour,
towards
for me
unlocking
yapping.
High Marshal Helbrecht
So
of the Black
yeah.
Templars. Again, click on my link in the description to download and play Tacticus for free today, and use my code WES1124 for a bunch of free rewards. Big thanks to Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring this video. In the 14th year of the 31st millennium, after 9 years of brutal civil war, where countless billions lost their lives and world after world burned in the wake of the War Master's rebellion, the Horus Heresy would come to an end. The traitor siege of the throne world had failed. Horus Lupercal had been slain by the Emperor of Mankind, and the renegade legions, now leaderless and bereft of morale, had turned tail and fled the wrath of a wounded and vengeful Imperium. In retaliation, the Loyalists would launch the Great Scouring, a galaxy-wide purge where they hunted down the rest of the traitor Marines, burned their tainted homeworlds, and reclaimed all of their lost territory. Seeking safe harbor, the traitors would end up fleeing into the Eye of Terror, as due to a series of powerful warp storms that surrounded it, it was the only place the Imperium could not follow them. This hellish wound in reality, where the vile essence of the Immaterium leaked into real space, would, shockingly, it proved to be no sanctuary. What would end up following would be another bloody period of unrest, where the fractured Chaos Legions would turn against each other over territory and resources in a Chaos Space Marine civil war known simply as the Legion Wars. According to Iskandar Kalyan, former sorcerer of the Thousand Suns and later the Black Legion, this was a period of fighting that eclipsed even that seen during the Heresy.
The Cadia of that lost age needed nothing at all, for it was scarcely threatened. The Imperium was strong because its foes no longer raised blades to bring down its false emperor. We had other wars to wage. We were fighting each other.
So legit. So after they got their booty clapped, and the Horus Heresy, they was like, you know what? Let's just beef with each other. Tough, absolute tough.
Legion wars. They raged across the Eye with a fury that made a mockery of the Horus Heresy. We were forgetting the Imperium as much as the Imperium was forgetting us. Though over time, our battles began to spill into real space. Hell itself couldn't contain the grudges we bore each other.
But why were the Legion Wars fought in the first place? What caused these former allies to turn against one another after entering the Eye of Terror? If I'm being honest with you, there's really no single answer to that question, but there were a lot of contributing factors. By the time the Legion Wars had gotten into full swing, all of the Chaos Primarchs were gone. Some of them had been killed, whereas others ascended to demonhood and subsequently abandoned their sons, as they were now puppets of the Chaos Gods.
I mean, what do you expect though? Like, if you are a part of like the Horus Heresy, whatever, and like, bro, your team got absolutely decimated, and bro, like, first of all, that's actually kind of sad to hear. To like, because I don't think that like they'll still like they'll still be like ruling over them or whatever, but I don't think they'll still like at least be there. Like, it's crazy how like some of them, obviously some of them died in battle, whatever, which makes sense. But then like you would have some that like became like a demon and stuff, and now they're like another pawn to like these freaks. Like, oh man, treacherous.
The Primarchs' attention took on a much more etheric nature. Where they were concerned with matters of the Pantheon and their great game, their sons were left dealing with mundane mortal concerns, the simple will to survive. In their absence, many power vacuums would end up forming throughout the legions, where the captains would all vie for power. On one end of the spectrum, this would lead to stagnation and indecisiveness, as a course of action could never be agreed upon. But on the other end, we would see inter-legion violence. Over time, this caused the legions to fracture over and over. Captains became warlords, and warbands were formed from the disillusioned warriors that pledged themselves to them, each one splitting off from their parent legion to carve their own path through the eye. The renegade legions were in complete disarray, and all of them had been reduced to a fraction of their former size and strength. Many struggled to accept both their defeat at the hands of the Emperor and the new reality they found themselves in. One where they were no longer the defenders of humanity seeking to overthrow a tyrant, but failed turncoats fleeing for their lives and subsisting off scraps.
So basically, this was like a huge GTA 5 lobby. That's basically what I'm hearing. This is like a big, just like not even invite only. This is just a public GTA lobby that anybody can join. Wowzers.
Some amongst them desperately clung to their ancient traditions and oaths in a vain attempt to seek order and stability amidst the insanity of the Eye and a galaxy that had turned against them. Others would end up embracing chaos and its pantheon, fully surrendering their minds, bodies, and souls to its corrupting effects. In turn, abandoning everything they had once been. As should come as no surprise, life within the Eye of Terror was and still is a pretty miserable existence. But it was particularly bad in those early years for the Chaos Space Marines. They were not equipped nor prepared to survive in a place where the once constant laws that governed the universe no longer applied. Their old grudges and rivalries, whether the target of their ire be within the Legion or without, were beginning to blossom into outright hatred, all while the supplies within their cargo holds were steadily dwindling away. What they would end up finding was that most of the worlds within the Eye of Terror were uninhabitable and anathema to human life. Many of them being bathed in psychic fire or dominated by demons. Some of these demon worlds were even alive, like everybody's favorite 40K planet Oliensis, whose design is rumored to have been inspired by famous Twitch streamer Queso.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. I better hold it. Hold it. Oh. Yo, weshammer. Yo, for real? Yo, I should go tell Queso right, bro. Hey, I should go tell Queso right now, bro. I should really go tell him. See if you keep that same energy. That's crazy. Yo. Yo, weshammer, are you serious? I should go, bro. You know I could go call Queso right now, right? It just tell him that you said this, right? Bro, why would you say, bro? That caught me so off guard, bro. Man, whew. I was fighting for my life to hold that laugh.
Now, even though they were rare, there were planets here that could provide Space Marines everything they needed. Not to mention the wrecks of ancient void ships that had been lost in the war, their carcasses later being spat back out into eye space. But finding a place they could actually live was only one part of the problem. There were a bunch of different resources that they needed to gather. You gotta understand that Space Marines are not immortal nor invincible. Though they often fancy themselves as being above humanity, their most basic primal needs are still very human.
Oh, the battles we have fought in the Eye for something as simple and primal as thirst. I have spent entire years of my life subsisting on chemical compounds, cancerous lake water, and even blood. I have...
Oh, man, he didn't even get... Bro, this guy, man, he didn't have a good hot meal in years. Man, bro. Man, bro. Imagine like what a space marine does. And I'm not even just like the chaos space marine, whatever. But imagine what like a chaos space marine or a regular space marine, bro, would do to a $5 fill-up from KFC. Oh man. Man, bro, they'll eat the box.
Butchered brothers and cousins for 100 sins, but you cannot imagine how many have died to my blade in wars over clean water.
Whenever a cache
Crazy.
of resources or habitable space was discovered, other scavengers would eventually be drawn in. Whether it was done simply as a means for survival or a chance to seek vengeance for a past slight, many of the legions and warbands would start to turn against each other, launching violent raids and surprise assaults to pillage resources from their former allies. At first, these battles were relatively rare, but would begin to increase in frequency and intensity, and thus the Legion Wars began. Now sure, during this period there were alliances that existed throughout all of the different warbands in one form or another, as some would declare themselves neutral, while others would merge together to increase their overall collective power, and some legions would remain mostly intact where others splintered beyond repair. But this was different from when they fought for the Imperium or against them, as there were no longer any systems of hierarchy, military doctrines, or collective culture that ensured loyalty. The only thing that mattered now was strength. Here within the ever-shifting tides of the Eye of Terror, the one constant, the one rule that never changed, was that the strong survived and the weak perished. It was every legion, every warband, and every individual for themselves. As loyalty was forever in flux here and the threat of betrayal an ever-present reality, there was always an underlying tension to every interaction, even when communicating with your supposed allies. Whenever ships or fleets would meet in the void, it was always a cautious affair. Even if you recognized the insignias, even if you fought side by side with these vessels in past battles, none of that mattered. You could never be sure of the other ship's intentions, and it was likely that whatever friend of yours had helmed the ship in the past had long ago been slain by a usurper. To enter into negotiations or attempt to find a middle ground was to rely on the honor of honorless men. Now, if having to look at every other Space Marine as a potential enemy and always being on the brink of starvation sounds exhausting to you, don't worry, it got even worse. Everyone within the Eye was also frequently being subjected to demonic incursions, rampaging warp storms, and potent demonic plagues that would routinely decimate the mortal population of slaves aboard their ships. Space Marines are few in number and are not capable of keeping a multiple-mile-long void vessel functioning without a crew. Thus, slaves became one of the primary resources the Legion Wars were fought over. This is why this period of time is also often referred to as the Eye of Terror Slave Wars, or simply the Slave Wars. Hungry for power and blood, the traitors butchered their kin with warp-sharpened blades and demonic sorcery.
Cause you know what's so crazy? Even though everybody over here in like the Eye of Terror, whatever, even though everybody's down bad and you have like demons or whatever, and like the chaos demons, they over here, bro, they're fighting for like, clean, Sarah Springs water and stuff like that. At the end of the day, what's so crazy is, man, and you think that they're doing worse, bro, imagine what the slaves are going through. Because if you think the Space Marines if you think they're struggling, oh man, they're not even at the bottom. The Chaos Space Marines, yeah, they're ugly and they're like, whatever. But at the same time, they got somebody that's underneath them. And those are the slaves. And we all know the slaves, they can't defend themselves. They're slaves. They are legit like doing something. They work for their life. Like that, it's not they don't work for money. Like they work for their life. Like they are enslaved from these Chaos Space Marines. Even though they're down bad and they're, going through plagues and stuff like that, they're going through the same thing that everybody else is going through. Like, brother, this is hell on, I would say hell on earth. Brother, that's like a hell universe over there. So at the end of the day, like, everything is legit down bad. Like, bro, but like, imagine how how the enslaved people feel, bro. Man. Imagine how they feel. Bro, if you think that the Chaos Space Marines, if you think they're hungry, man, bro, for the enslaved people, bro, their stomach is touching their backs.
In a sea of gore and greed, the glories of the heresy were forgotten, and a new chapter of carnage began. Meanwhile, the dark gods subverted and manipulated their new playthings, reshaping the legions for their own ends in the never-ending great game. Okay, let's talk about what each one of the legions did during the Legion Wars, including what
Okay.
happened to them immediately after the Siege of Terra, how they operated throughout the Legion Wars,
Okay.
and just how powerful they each managed to become. But unfortunately, we have to start this section of the video off by knocking two of them out real quick.
Okay.
As both the Night Lords and the Alpha Legion never retreated into the Eye in full force. They instead made their way to the Galactic East, where both the Legion's primarchs would inevitably end up being killed. This would coincidentally cause their legions to fracture into warbands, just like what was happening to the legions that were in the Eye of Terror. The Night Lords would continue on in the teachings of Conrad Kurz, and each of their warbands would go about spreading wars of terror throughout the Galactic East.
Oh my.
The Alpha Legion, on the other hand, would do something similar, except their wars were ones of misdirection and subterfuge. The cults that they spread would even end up being instrumental in heralding in Abaddon's first Black Crusade. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, it's true that some warbands from each of these legions would eventually make their way to eye space, but it was a very small portion of the whole, and thus their overall contribution to the Legion Wars is considered to be pretty minimal at best, often being attributed to the individual warband instead of the parent legion. But what about the legions that did escape into the Eye? What did each one of them do? Well, let's start with the Thousand Sons, as
Okay.
after suffering a triple tragedy of the burning of Prospero, the failure at the Siege of Terra, and Ahriman's rubric, which
Damn.
further decimated the Legion, turning the vast majority of them into rubric marines, it was estimated there was only around 1,000 of their sorcerers left during this period. They would take refuge on the demon
So is that that's like how they got the name, right? Like Thousand Sons? Okay, cool, okay.
world of Sortiaris,
Okay.
more commonly known as the planet of the sorcerers. Unlike many of the other legions who would have to scavenge for new homeworlds,
These guys use
the
magic
Thousand
too, right?
Sons had been here before, after being teleported here at the end of the burning of Prospero. However, considering their low numbers, the Thousand Sons were not big players during the Legion Wars in their own right. Their participation mostly came in the form of them acting as sorcerers for hire, mercenaries that would attach themselves to whatever warband was capable of paying the highest price. Due to just
I can't lie to you. That's smart. That's something that I would do. Obviously, like for the salamander and stuff like that, we always get paid in full. Always. But to be honest with you, that really sounds smart. That's something that me, Vulcan, and the salamanders would do.
how powerful each and every one of them was, and the host of rubric marines that they would bring with them, their services were always highly sought after. Whereas many of the other legions broke during or shortly after the Siege of Terra, as small portions of them all making their way into
My bad,
the
yo.
Eye
Sorry about
along
that.
different routes, the Death Guard's retreat was said to be slow, steady, and orderly. Despite their failure to take Terra, Nurgle was said to still be proud of his new sons and Mortarion's achievements. Thus, he gifted the Pale King his own demon world, the Plague Planet, to shape in the image of old Barbarous. Being gifted with a well-stocked planet that was perfectly suited for them and came with a not-so-healthy but abundant mortal population,
Well-stocked?
they did not have to go through the arduous process of locating a base of operations, nor suffer the attrition rates that such a search was inflicting upon the other legions. In addition, the Plague Planet was ideally located
Oh hell no, man! This thing, this looks like if a tennis ball got rubbed in with like mud or something, oh no, bro. I'm gonna be honest, bro. If I'm in a spaceship, bro, and like we're just like just going around, we're just like vibing to like some Kanye West or Drake or something like that, my top favorite, my top two artists. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like if we're just going around, bro, and I see this grease ball right here, I'm gonna be honest with you. This thing right here looks like the you guys know like the Mucinex commercial, bro. I had the little mini character, the little green little bubble. That's what he look like. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is nasty, bro. I'm gonna be bro. This looks like a booger up close. This is not. Oh no, this thing right here makes me itch. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna be bro. If you even smell the air on this planet, you're dead. This is abysmal.
on the Eye of Terror's rim, right next to its opening,
Oh,
meaning that
no.
when the Death Guard eventually began breaking free and raiding Imperial space, they were in the best possible location to do so. This would in turn allow them to rapidly accrue power over the coming centuries, and though their exploits during this time are not sufficiently documented, sources like their 8th edition codex inform us that they did in fact wage, quote, many bitter wars against the other legions. Likewise, it's also documented that they were powerful enough to be the last holdout against the Black Legion when they rose to power.
Oh,
One by
okay.
one, all of the legions and their primarchs would eventually bend the knee to Abaddon, all except for Mortarion and the Death Guard. It is said that Mortarion would almost wipe them out at one point, as they struggled to overcome his collection of plagues. Later, the Death Guard warlord Thagus Derevek, the Lord of Hosts, would arise near the end of the Legion Wars as a direct rival to Abaddon. In a very short period of time, this guy rose to power and ended up controlling more territory, more resources, more ships, and more allied warbands than the Despoiler, and came within spitting distance of wiping the Black Legion out completely and taking their place. His hubris, however, would end up getting the better of him though, and the Black Legion would emerge victorious, Abaddon subsequently having his corpse crucified in the oculus of the Vengeful Spirit. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the Iron Warriors. After fleeing from Terra and a quick rematch with Dorn in the Imperial Fist at the Battle of the...
Bro, listen, every time I see this guys, bro, listen. No glaze. We all know, like, Vulcan, he's my #1. But, like, bro, every time I see this guy's armor, man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. It's up there. His armor is up there, bro. Like, this is, bro, this, man, this is fly, bro. This right here, bro, he looks like the world champs of world champs. Like, bro, this is fire. You cannot, bro, listen. And like I said before, Vulcan has the best armor color wave of all time. I'm going to be completely real with you, bro. Besides the Emperor, I'll give the Emperor second, just for respect. He's definitely third. Bro, this is, man. He came out the house drippy today. Man, bro, I wish I had this, bro. Hey. Man, I wish this was for sale. Bro, I would buy this, bro.
Iron Cage, where Perturabo would end up ascending to demonhood, the Iron Warriors would flee into the Eye of Terror and claim the demon world of Medrungar as their new homeworld. Now, not much is known about their participation in the wider Legion Wars, but in the Talon of Horus, we are told that due to their strong links to the Dark Mechanicum, they would end up controlling a sizable portion of the Forge Worlds within the Eye. Because of this, they found themselves in a somewhat lofty position, wherein they maintained an iron grip on resources, trade routes, and the means of production that all of the warbands relied upon, thus being able to comfortably declare their neutrality. They would make it so many of their ports and forges were neutral ground, such as the Forge World of Gallium, a Mechanicum city-state turned forge claimed by the 4th Legion, but operated by a Legion-appointed Martian adept. Warbands from all legions could find safe harbor here and trade for the Dark Mechanicum services, so long as they swore to leave their grudges and petty rivalries at the door. So yeah, for the most part, they remained neutral throughout and operated as a bunch of wealthy weapons brokers. I know this is becoming a pattern, but there's not much known about the Wordbearers' involvement during the Legion Wars either. But based on what we do know about them, we can make some educated guesses. After retreating into the Eye of Terror, Lorgar would end up ascending to demonhood and would leave control of the Wordbearers to his Dark Council, a group made up of prominent Dark Apostles from each of the Wordbearers' warbands. Because of their shared faith that allowed them to stay somewhat unified, the Wordbearers continued to function as a legion within the Eye, something that none of the other Chaos Legions were capable of doing. Because of this, it is assumed they were quickly able to amass a sizable amount of territory, including their new homeworld, the demon world of Sikaris. But here's the thing about Sikaris. Whereas other legions were forced to make their homes upon hostile, untamed planets, Sikaris was already thriving. You see, Corpheron had been teleported here shortly after the Wordbearers' invasion of Calth, when he used a shard of the Anathame to open a portal and escape the pursuing Ultramarines and the destruction of his own ship.
I'm gonna keep it real. I would do the exact same thing. If I had the option to. Wait. Wasn't there a guy, and I'm pretty sure you guys could like back me up with this. You guys could definitely figure who this guy is. There was a guy who kind of like did like the same thing to where like he used like that little thing and like he slashed like the air and he could just like teleport or like escape whatever, but then like it didn't work and then he got jumped by like a bunch of like demons or whatever. But didn't that happen with like, man, who did that happen to? I forgot, but like he basically used like the same strat that he just used.
After killing the prophet of the children of Sikaris who inhabited this planet, as well as a Tzeentchian chaos champion who sought to subjugate them, he declared the world his own. He and the warriors under his command would then enslave the planet's population and bind a legion of demons.
Of course. Listen, whenever it comes to Warhammer, man, everybody and their mama got some slaves, man. Listen, they collecting slaves like Pokemon. It's not funny because these are people. These are innocent people. They trying to live life, but man, bro, I be feeling bad for them, bro.
Demon hosts to their will, all of which were used to construct an endless array of fortified towers and cathedrals dedicated to the ruinous powers, all in preparation for their future reunion with Lorgar and the Legion. So yeah, the Wordbearers were set to be a dominant superpower within the Eye. They already had a thriving homeworld ready to go. They were more unified than any other legion. They were still in communication with their primarch, at least for a little while, and when he left, he made sure there were systems in place to keep the legion together. Not to mention the fact that due to their spiritual nature, they were more in tune with the warp, the ruinous powers, and the things that dwelt within the Sea of Souls than any other legion. This meant that life in the Eye for them was not nearly as jarring and disruptive as it was for the other legions. If anything, these dudes were right at home here. The Eye was sacred ground, where they could be directly in tune with the dark gods they had pledged themselves to. All that being said, I personally find it kind of shocking just how little information there is about the Wordbearers during this time period. Most of the available source material focuses primarily on the next 3 legions that we're going to talk about. So why is this? Why don't we have more documented accounts that point to a tyrannical regime run by the Sons of Lorgar? Unfortunately, this is where we start having to use a little bit of guesswork. Knowing what we know about the Wordbearers and what the Legion Wars were specifically being fought over, i.e. slaves, resources, and territory, all of which the Wordbearers had in abundance, to me it's highly probable that they saw no reason to get involved at all. Anything they wanted they could just take, as they had the numbers to do so, and there really wasn't anyone that could stand against them. And not to mention, on the other end of that, any idiotic warband that would seek to challenge them or attack their territory would be wiped out of existence in the blink of an eye, perhaps mercifully.
Wait, they were strong? Wait, they were that strong? Wait, for real? I mean, listen, I understand, like, you know, strength in numbers and everything like that, but like, bro, I didn't know they were like that. Okay. Wow. Okay. I kind of put that put a little fear in my heart. I can't lie to you.
Total domination of the Eye of Terror seems to have not been their goal. It's my belief that at this point, their interest began to turn inward, with a focus on the affairs of the Pantheon. Their objectives, first and foremost, had always been the advancement of the agenda of the Chaos Gods. They viewed the squabbling of barbarians as beneath them, and thus became isolated from the larger conflict. Now, of course, this is likely not true of all of the Wordbearers' warbands, but to keep things simple, we're mostly generalizing and focusing on the legions as a whole. Now, the Wordbearers were not the only superpower within the Eye, and though they chose to mostly stay out of the conflict, the same cannot be said for the Emperor's children, who not only were the ones to kick off the Legion Wars in the first place, but would end up rising to power and becoming the primary antagonist during this period. A villainous role that, as luck would have it, they were in a very good...
Oh, no, he cracked out. Look at his face. Oh, no, man. Look at his... This is somebody's worst nightmare, man. Somebody saw this in their dreams. Look at him. First of all, hey, R. Kelly, put the tongue back in your mouth, okay? Yo, put the tongue back in your mouth, okay, freakster? Put the tongue right back in the mouth. These teeth, oh, no. Man, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Hey, whoever created this, man... Y'all are going through something, bro. I know. Because, listen, no sane, happy person is going to imagine something like this. This is just straight up, bro, look at this debacle. Man, look at his face. Oh, no. And then, like, look at his eyes. It's like he don't blink. Like, bro, like, oh, nah, bro. One thing I would say, though, let me give some props. Because, like, you know, I don't want you to pop up on me. Obviously, you know, I'm going to get Vulcan, you know, to handle you. But, you know, it's fine. The purple, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like, bro, purple on like on just like any armor has always looked good, like in all the like, you know, like armor sets or whatever, or like armor like colorways or whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think purple always looked good to me. Maybe that's just me though. But yeah, bro, hey yo, monster, put the tongue up, literally. Put the tongue up, monster.
What they did during and directly after the Siege of Terra. Now, during the siege, with the exception of the assault on the Saturnine Gate, the Emperor's children spent the majority of their time not attacking the walls or the defenders, but instead descending upon the Terran mortal population to satiate their depraved desires. Billions of Terran citizens were hauled off as slaves, tortured, used as guinea pigs in their sadistic experiments, or rendered down into a vast array of narcotics and
Did he just say billions? He said B, right? He said billions, right? They enslaved billions? Are you serious? Oh my goodness gracious. This man got a whole air vent in his shoulder pad. Wowzers.
stems. While their cousins in the other legions were busy fighting and dying, they were unknowingly stocking up for the coming legion wars. This orgy of debauchery would end up going on the road. When they fled towards the Eye, they would do the same thing to every world they encountered.
Hey, brother, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the last video, I said he looked like Victor's ass. Hey, listen, I'm joking. That was a joke. My bad. You know, I don't want no beef. I understand. You know, he got the Air Vent 300s. You know, the headphones. I don't want no beef, brother. I don't want no beef at all. Like you've been through enough. Like, you know, like Batman did his job on you, and it looked like, you know, like you got cut up by like Professor Pig or something. Listen, yo, Victor's ass, I want no part of you. Yo, I want no beef at all. You know, I'm sorry of what I said, because the other day I called him Victor's ass, and I can't lie to you, man. Ever since then, man, I just been getting nightmares of this guy in my dreams. So if I'm being honest with you, yo, Victor's ass, I apologize, yo, here he, I'm bowing down to him. Yeah.
Plundering and raiding to their heart's content. Not only did their former choice to target non-combatants mean that they suffered only trivial losses in comparison to the other legions, but all of this raiding and looting meant that when they crossed the threshold into eye space, their cargo holds were stocked to the absolute brim with slaves and supplies. Still, the Third Legion's greed knew no limitations, and they would run rampant across this new frontier, seizing vast swaths of territory while the other legions were still arguing about what to do. During this period, the Emperor's Children new homeworld of Harmony and its prized jewel of Canticle City would become a thriving center of power for the Third Legion. Now, the thing about the Emperor's Children and their addiction to excess meant that also during this time, they were burning pretty hot and would end up tearing through their stockpiles far more quickly than anticipated.
Ooh.
This would cause them to end up being the first ones to break back out of the Eye of Terror to rage and pillage Imperial worlds before diving back in with spoils in hand. Once again, however, they would end up exhausting all of their supplies and playthings, thus causing them to begin preying upon the only victims available.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'll be completely real with you. This thing right here is absolutely, man, this thing is ugly. And now listen, I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm not the most handsome guy in the world. But listen, this thing right here is absolutely atrocious. I can see this guy's brain. Now, I will admit, like I said before, oh, bro, dang, he got the veins in his shoulders too. That's crazy. I will admit, even though I would roast like the people who got like the stomach, who got like the mouth is like the stomach or whatever. Even though that I look at that as like a nasty whatever, I gotta respect that. Bro, listen, man, listen. He's certified. Even though he's ugly, he's certified. You know why? Bro, the mouth on his stomach got the grills on. I'm gonna be completely real with you. That's fire. That is absolute fire. Oh, bro, look at these guys right here, man. Dang, that's messed up.
The slaves and servants of the other traitor legions. It was the Emperor's Children that launched the first documented attacks against.
Bro, did you get like, bro, hello? Yo, 6ix9ine, you good? Did he just get like thrown into like a bowl of fruity pebbles? What's going on, bro? Bro, he looks cracked out. What's up, Skittle man? Like, bro, who is this guy? Bro, this looks like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a hater, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. This does look a little fire. This looks nice. This this artwork, yo, who created this? Hey, if you created this, if you're watching this, you created this, I'm gonna be honest with you. I need this on my wall. This is fire. Now, listen, I don't like no demonic, evil things in my house. I don't do that. But I will say this. This looks absolutely fire. He got the 2 spatulas in the back. Okay. All right.
Against their former allies. And thus it was specifically their greed that kicked off the Legion Wars.
That's fire. That's hard.
So now that we've talked about the big players, let's shift our attention to the 2 legions that arrived in the Eye of Terror in the worst shape possible. The Sons of Horus and the World Eaters. Now, although the Sons of Horus suffered a higher death count, the World Eaters were undoubtedly the most broken and dysfunctional of all of the legions immediately after the Siege of Terra. And that's for a few major reasons. First, they were lacking any real leadership. Both Angron and Kharn had seemingly been killed during the siege, and though they managed to recover Kharn's body, Angron's soul had been sent screaming back into the warp, and most assumed he was lost forever.
Ooh.
Even before their defeat, the constant pounding of the Butcher's nails was a hindrance to the Legion's attempts at unity. But now, worship of the Blood God had also taken root within their ranks, and was beginning to spread like a virus. This was something that only exacerbated their particular brand of bloody madness. The rampaging remnants of the World Eaters were barely able to hold it together just long enough to make it inside of the Eye. By the time they made it into eye space, something as simple as coming up with a plan that all of the remaining captains could agree upon was basically an impossibility. They needed a strong, charismatic leader to unite them, as somebody that everyone within the Legion respected. But other than the Primarch, they all agreed the only person really possible of filling that role was Khorne. Now, miraculously,
right?
Kharn's corpse started showing signs of life around this point. Just a faint heartbeat and shallow breaths. He was still in a comatose state and needed to be placed on life support. But even still, he was alive, and that gave the Legion hope. But that hope would eventually begin to dissipate, as many believed that he would never fully wake up. But Dragar, captain of the 9th Company, was not one of those people. He had faith in Kharn and would routinely sit by his bedside, doing everything he could to reach him.
Oh, that's a real one.
Whether that be talking to him, reading to him, trying to get him to close his hand around his chain axe.
Oh, yeah, that's a real
he
one.
even sliced his hand open at one point and tried dripping his own blood on Kharn's face in an attempt to reawaken him via his bloodlust. But no matter what he did, nothing worked. No matter how much he begged, no matter how badly his old friend needed him right now, Kharn didn't stir. Even still, Dragar never lost faith. He told the other captains that Kharn would come back.
I respect the
He would
loyalty.
lead the Legion in their father's place. No one would be appointed as the new leader of the Legion other than him. A sentiment that caused a rift to develop between the other captains, who were either hungry for power themselves or believed him as good as dead. Waiting around for an impossibility was a waste of time, and without direction or purpose, the splintering of the Legion was getting worse and worse. If all of this wasn't bad enough, their search for a new homeworld within the Eye wasn't really bearing any fruit, until they happened to stumble upon an icy, unnamed planet. It wasn't much to look at, and at nighttime, the temperatures could drop to such freezing lows they could even kill a space marine. Even still, it was habitable. There was just one big problem. Shortly after discovering the planet, they would also witness a massive Emperor's Children fleet in close proximity. The fleet was highly organized in Legion formation, and none of the ships really appeared damaged. Whereas on the other hand, the World Eaters' fleet was a complete mess. Most of the ships were suffering grievous damage, and they weren't operating in formation. It was as if each individual ship was doing their own thing. Immediately, there was a lot of tension, and the World Eaters' captains debated on what to do. Now, it's true that they had been allies only a...
Bro, they got no order, no nothing. Like, it's just tacky, bro. It's like sending your football team out there without them knowing to play. Like man, bro, that's the thing, bro. It's like the 2024 Jaguars. Like, bro, what's going on? Like, we're not even on the same, like program right now. Like, this is, like, bro, the Salamanders, bro, they could legit never. Like, this is ridiculous. This is really, bro. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself, if I'm being honest with you.
Few years prior, but the reality was that they weren't really allies to each other. They had been allies of the War Master, and with him gone, no one knew if those old bonds still held any weight.
Terrible.
Skipping ahead a little bit, but after a brief assassination attempt by a handful of blood-born warriors acting under the directives of one of the power-hungry World Eaters' captains, Kharn would miraculously reawake, kill all of the assassins, and take control of the Legion once again. He would then go on to
Wait, so he just woke up? Bro just popped the Red Bull and just woke up? What do you mean he just suddenly woke up? What is it? Huh? Nah. Bro, because bro, I mean, even though Vulcan, like, woke up, like, even obviously, because, you know, Vulcan's Vulcan. Like, bro, he just popped up and just, like, bro took a 5-hour energy and just woke up and just started slaying? not Goku. You ain't Kratos. You're not Vulcan. Like, what is he? Huh?
The Emperor's Children fleet and arrange for them to meet on a planet's nearby moon to discuss terms. When they got down there, though, the Emperor's Children made it clear they had no intent of helping the World Eaters. After mocking them and their primarch for a solid 30 minutes or so, they told them to get out of their sight. This system had been claimed by the 3rd Legion, and if they weren't gone soon, they would be destroyed. Kharn turned to Dragar and opened a private Vox channel to him. He asked him what he would give to see the World Eaters united once again. Without hesitation, the captain of the 9th Company responded, anything. Kharn knew what he had to do, and after quickly conveying his intent to Dragar, he pulled out Gorechild, revved its motor, and assumed a combat stance. The Emperor's Children reacted in kind, all of them raising their weapons. Their leader told him that he was making a grave mistake and to stand down. They were, however, so focused on the threat in front of them that they didn't notice Dragar had moved off to the side, where he leveled a plasma pistol at their leader's head and fired. The warlord's head detonated, and the World Eaters launched themselves at their former ally.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. That was cold. That was hey. I can't lie to you. I just broke that entire scene down mentally. That's something you see out of like a movie, bro. All right, that was hard. I'll admit that. That was hard.
Although this turn of events is rather shocking, Kharn's logic does make some sense. At this point, the only thing that could bind the World Eaters together was another war to fight. What would follow would come to be known as the Battle of Scalathrax, the name Kharn chose to give the planet. And though the Emperor's Children would ultimately be defeated here, this was also where Kharn earned the title of Betrayer, taking a flamer to his own men when they refused to fight at night due to the freezing temperatures. This event would come to be known as the Night of Madness, and would see the World Eaters shattering for good, the Legion permanently breaking up into various warbands, never again to come together as a whole. I'll
Tough.
save the Sons of Horus for last, as although the Legion Wars is an incredibly interesting time period that I really hope Games Workshop fleshes out in the future, considering that most of the information that we get about this time period is contained within source material that focuses on the Black Legion, in many ways, the Sons of Horus are kind of the main characters here. After the Sons of Horus retreated into the Eye of Terror, they were not in a good place, both figuratively and quite literally. The Legion had been crippled, reduced to a fraction of its former strength, with only a few captains left to lead them. In addition to the literal weight of their dead Primarch's corpse on their back, which they recovered before initiating their retreat, the Sons of Horus also bore the figurative weight of their father's failure, as many outside the Legion, and if truth be told, within as well, blamed the 16th for the rebellion's failure. Both their resources and list of potential allies they could turn to were in short supply. They knew they needed to—
Listen. All right, let's just say this, right? If I was a son of Horus, like whatever, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Bro, you lost to the Emperor. I'm not gonna be, and I understand, like, you know, whatever, like, you know, Horus got clapped up, even though it was like a good battle, whatever. Horus got clapped up, and so like they're feeling the pain of it, whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you. First of all, bro, I would have left, bro. If Horus was like, yo, by the way, I got the Emperor's coming tomorrow. We about to face off 9v9. It is not, bro, 9 of my bros versus the Emperor and his sons. I got Emperor. Nobody gets Emperor besides me. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. As he's breaking down the game plan, bro, all you're gonna see is my booty and elbows, bro. I'm out of here, bro. Trade me right now, bro. Trade me to the Emperor spot. You wouldn't even, bro, I promise you, they would have to lock me up, bro, because the amount of trash talking that I'm gonna do, the amount of glazing I'm gonna do, bro, lock me up immediately, bro. Bro, all you're gonna see is my booty and elbows. I'm out of here, bro. As a matter of fact, bro, I'm packing my bags as we speak. I'm out of here, bro. Legit. I'm not even like, are you serious? So at the end of the day, like, I understand why like the Sons of Horus are like feeling the pain or whatever, but like, bro, he lost to the Emperor. Like, what do you expect, bro? That's the GOAT. That's the greatest of all time. Now, am I gonna sit here and act like, you know, Horus didn't do nothing? I mean, he did do something. Obviously, like, bro, you know, the Emperor, he's a carrot right now, you know, and I don't even mean to be mean, but like, yo, Emperor, listen, don't kill me, bro. I know you can like kill people with your thoughts. Don't, you know, I don't want to be like used up for like your little like $1,000 like, what was it, like 1,000 body a day sacrifice or whatever. I don't want to be used up for that. But at the end of the day, listen, I gotta tell the truth. Horus, I mean, he put up a good battle. You sitting here, you know, like frozen peas, you know, in the freezer. At the end of the day, what are we supposed to do? You know, and Horus, he did his thing. Even though he lost, he went out sad. It did take a lot for you to, you know, get rid of him. So at the end of the day, I will put respect on his name. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. I wouldn't even dare. If I was like on like the Sons of Heresy side, bro, man, y'all wouldn't even catch me. Come on, bro. I wouldn't even be, bro. I wouldn't even be breathing like the Horus Heresy's air, bro. I'm gonna be out of there, like literally.
To establish a new homeworld and find a resting place for their father. And so they searched, doing their best to ignore and stay out of the wars unfolding all around them. Eventually, they stumbled upon the planet of Malleum, a world said to be a graveyard of steel and rust. Here, they erected the fortress of Lupercalios out of the gathered remains from wrecked, decaying vessels long lost in the warp. Many would say that this place was not only a stronghold, but a mausoleum to the 16th Legion, as it was where Horus's remains were entombed. Many of the sons of Horus would take to worshipping the dead Primarch, unable or unwilling to find a new leader and reconcile with the rage and humiliation associated with their failure, causing the 16th to further stagnate right at the precipice of extinction. Some could not bear to see what the Legion had been reduced to and left of their own accord, chief amongst them being Abaddon, who took the vengeful spirit and would spend a time wandering the Eye of Terror alone. Lacking the strength to attack other legions nor launch any kind of substantial raid back into real space, the Sons of Horus instead were forced to plunder what materials and labor they could from nearby demon worlds and imperial settlements that were close to the Eye. However, slowly but surely, the planet and their fortress would become ever more fortified, its walls growing higher and thicker with every passing year. Some of the remaining captains warned that it was only a matter of time before they were forcibly drawn into the Legion Wars, a sentiment that most agreed was an inevitability, but none could agree on what to do about it. Some of the captains wanted to replace their losses by increasing the Legion's gene seed stocks, while others believed that the warp would eventually provide for them if they could master the methods of merging space marines with demons. Now, it was around this time that the Legion Wars were reaching their zenith. On hundreds of demon worlds across the Eye, twisted space marine armies clawed at each other, their bodies mutating and changing under the ethereal light of crackling stars. It was at this point that the Emperor's children were at the peak of their power, their greed and avarice seeing them launch dozens of attacks against the other traitors, an act that not only rewarded them with even more resources and territory, but further strengthened their bond with Slaanesh, the god of excess, who in turn gave them ever more blessings. Eventually, their hungry eyes fell upon Malleum. The Emperor's children would end up rallying dozens of warbands from other legions in a short-lived alliance, fueled by old grudges. The united force would end up launching a sudden surprise assault against the Sons of Horus homeworld, the aggressors vastly outnumbering and overpowering the defenders. Eventually, the Emperor's children managed to smash their way inside of the fortress, an army of demonettes following in their wake. In sheer desperation, many of the Sons of Horus would make hasty demonic pacts, surrendering themselves to possession and being forever lost to the warp. But in the end, there was nothing they could do. What started as a defensive battle...
Whoa, so they just quit like that? I'm gonna be honest with you, I was not expecting that at all. Wow. So they basically was like, you know what, bro? Man, just take my booty. Take my booty right now. Like, that's basically what they just said. Like, just take my body. Like, you could just have me. Like, bro, no fight, no nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If it came down to it, bro, if I was in a corner, bro, man, I'm fighting for my life. I don't care, bro. Win, lose, or draw, bro. Bro, if it's 1v50, bro, I'm the type of guy to stand on business.
It's now a fight for survival. The call was given, and they fled into the void, helpless to do anything, while the sadists of the 3rd Legion collected their prize, the corpse of the War Master. After their enemy retreated and the Sons of Horus returned, the only thing they could do was count the dead. Their fortress was in ruin, and the Legion decimated. The remaining Legion captains would end up giving into a dark despair or uncontrolled rage. They turned on each other, and any remaining semblance of order completely collapsed. Eventually, word got back to them why the 3rd Legion had wanted the Primarch's corpse in the first place. It was going to be turned over to Fabius Bile, who would use its wealth of genetic information to create an army of clones, crafted in Horus's image. Falcus Kyber, one of the Legion's first company.
They would have been absolutely garbage. When do you, bro. When do you know that, like, clones of anything are absolutely garbage. They are a clone of something. It does not mean they're going to be the same thing as that. Like, what do we like, bro? They're going to have other problems and mutations, and there's going to be like, bro, it's going to flop. It's going to flop. Okay, unless this is like a voice sounding contest, well, who sounds just like me or whatever. Okay, I guess my clone can get an award for that. But everything else, I'm pretty sure my clone, my clone would suck at, because I'm the natural, like I'm naturally me, and I'm better at the things that I know that I'm good at. And if you have like a clone, whatever, like bro, like the clone's gonna suck. When are we gonna figure out? I mean, obviously this is like a fiction thing, but like even in fiction, they even break it down in fiction that like, bro, even though like you have a clone of like this character, whatever, they still suck unless it's like I don't watch Naruto or whatever, but I do know that Naruto, he does like the little clone thing or whatever. Like, I mean, that doesn't really count. Like, you know, it's like it's personally him. I'm talking about like clones of like this evil doctor, like, you know, like I don't know, like this evil menace doctor that's like in a room by himself, just like cloning like somebody else. I just feel like that's just like those clones won't do nothing.
Captains would end up turning to two of his old friends for help. A sorcerer of the Thousand Suns named Iskandar Kalyan, leader of the Kasharan warband, and Liorvin Euchris, a former Centaurian of the World Eater's 50th Heavy Support Company, and now the warlord of the
He looks
15th
scary.
Fangs warband. The three met in the ruins of the Space Hulk known as his chosen son, an old Sons of Horus battlecruiser, an area that long ago had been stripped of anything of value, and now was routinely used as neutral ground for meetings just like this one. After he tells them everything that happened at Lupercalius with the Emperor's children, he informs them what he plans to do about it: track down Abaddon and the Vengeful Spirit. With the Sons of Horus on their deathbed, they needed Abaddon's leadership, but that ultimately was a secondary prize to the Vengeful Spirit itself. It was a Gloriana-class battleship, unmatched in power, a ship that could give them the strength they needed to take vengeance upon the Third Legion and destroy any of the Horus clones they managed to create. Now, his compatriots point out that he isn't the first to declare their intent to hunt down the Vengeful Spirit, but no one has ever been successful in that because nobody knew where it was. That's when several of the Sons of Horus under Falcus's command bring out a fourth member to the group, a word-bearer by the name of Sargon. Now, unfortunately, Sargon's throat had been cut by a blood angel during the Siege of Terra, so he could only communicate by using a bit of old...
Okay, wait, my face comes in the way. It says, correction, it was a plasma burn to the throat. It's over here, but my face comes in the way, so I gotta read what it says right here.
fashion necromancy to reanimate a nearby corpse.
So his throat got
and
like
sleep
burned
through
by
that instead.
it got burned by
After doing
plasma.
so, he informs them that he had not only seen the Vengeful Spirit, but had been aborted. He could guide them to its resting place on one of the Radiant Worlds. But the journey would require them passing through the Fire Tide, which was a region of psychic flame, a byproduct of both the Emperor and the Astronomicon's burning light that scoured worlds clean of life, where armies of fire angels and flame-wrought projections waged war against everything in their path. Both of the other Space Marines think Falcus's plan is crazy, but they are sympathetic. Although seemingly an act of desperation at first, this was something beyond that. Desperation was a symptom of hope, something that the nearly extinct Sons of Horus had run out of. This wasn't even about survival anymore. It was the last gasp of a warrior who refused to die with his duty undone. One final battle to send his legion's name into history with pride. This would end up resonating with them, and thus they agreed to help. Okay, so with that basic setup established, I'm gonna let you know right now that this is kind of the entire plot to the Talon of Horus novel, which you should definitely check out if you're a fan of chaos or just want to know why people like myself insist that Abaddon is actually a great character. I'm not going to add an extra 45 minutes to this video covering the entire story in detail, but I am going to be giving you the cliff notes as they line up with more common source material like the Chaos Space Marine Codexes or specifically the Black Legion 7th edition supplement. So this is where those spoilers I mentioned at the beginning of the video for Talon of Horus are going to start.
Okay.
Eventually, the group would be successful and would track down both Abaddon and the Vengeful Spirit.
Okay.
When they met with him, it was revealed that Abaddon was secretly leading them to him, and though they were the first to arrive, they were not the only ones he had called. It was his belief that although the 9 traitor legions still called themselves legions, they were little more than a horde. Now, that being said, there was still some value in what they had become. Space Marines now followed warlords because they chose to do so, rather than following a captain because they were told to. They could uphold the traditions rooted in the culture of their legion or defy their origins entirely. The point was that it was their choice to do so. Abaddon did not want to change what the legions had become. He wanted to refine and perfect it. He, and he assumed many others as well, still craved the true brotherhood of a real legion once again. A brotherhood made up of individuals that no longer chose to define themselves by their father's failures. A legion that would emerge preeminent in a new war. Not a war of rebellion or petty pride, but the future of mankind. The group ends up joining with him in this new cause, and over time they manage to gather more and more to their side. It's at this point that they go about planning the attack on Canticle City. On one hand, the vile experiments being conducted by the Emperor's children needed to be stopped. Even if the clones weren't perfect, even if they emerged from Fabius Bile's laboratory as a pack of abominations, having been created from the genetic template of a primarch would make them ludicrously powerful. They would be weapons unlike any other, and would give the Emperor's children the strength they needed to end the Legion War.
Oh no. Bro, there'll be, oh my god. Hey bro, imagine that. Like, oh my god, they'll be cracked. Oh no. Yeah, I said oh no. I didn't say oh yes. Oh no. That's bro, that's scary.
Drowning every world controlled by the other legions in a tide of blood and excess. Now, there was also the matter of vengeance for what they had done to the Sons of Horus, something that Abaddon personally didn't really care about. With the Legion's sole fortress destroyed, the Primarch's body and whatever clones had been made from him were the last thing that needed to be destroyed for the Sons of Horus to be free of their father's shadow. Though their coming battle would be brutal, and Abaddon's new fledgling legion was outnumbered 20-1, they would eventually be successful in destroying Canticle City.
Really?
When, in a very Abaddon move, he hurled Kalyon's ship, the Talok, at the city's heart like a spear. The devastation caused by a nearly 2-kilometer-long ship striking the city was astronomical. The Emperor's children had been prepared to fight off an incoming assault with a hefty supply of defensive turrets and flak cannons. But this? There was no preventing the coming apocalypse.
Canticle City simply did not exist anymore. A screaming maelstrom of liquid fire.
Bro, they sent like that base was like it was like an oversized missile. They sent like an oversized missile straight to a city. That's crazy.
Had torn out in all directions from the Talok's impact site. Everything, everywhere was dust, ashes, and flame. The fall of a single rockcrete skyscraper can choke a moderately sized city with its dust cloud. Try to imagine then the effect of the vastness of an entire city slain by a 2-kilometer-long warship hurled from orbit and bearing thousands of tons of volatile chemicals and tactical warheads right into the city's heart. I would be surprised if you can. The scalding air was thick enough to drown in.
It was the destruction of Canticle City on the Emperor's children's homeworld of Harmony that marked the end of the Legion Wars. The menace of the Emperor's children, a faction that had risen to power because of their addiction to excess, would ultimately be undone by that same vice. Abaddon would also be successful in tracking down Fabius Bile and destroying all of the...
Time to let it go. It is time to let it go, my brother. It is time to let it go. Ooh, it is time to duel. Yeah, it's time to let it go. Man, you hanging on. Man, let this thing go immediately, bro. Listen, I understand you can mess me up, bro. Listen, before you go absolutely insane on me, let this thing go. That's my final wish to you, brother.
Clones of Horus. After they were purged, the Sons of Horus were free of their father's shadow and finally allowed to rest. The Black Legion carrying on in their place. In the centuries that followed, more legionnaires and warbands would seek out and join the Black Legion. One by one, all of the demon primarchs would eventually bend the knee, acknowledging the Black Legion's right to exist, and Abaddon as the new War Master in the long war to come. For their part, after the destruction of Canticle City, the Emperor's children would finally shatter. They would never again reach the same level of power and influence they held during the Legion Wars, but would end up replenishing their losses by using gene seeds stolen from other legions. For the forces of chaos, old grudges are nearly impossible to let go, and others still look upon the Third Legion with suspicion. None who dwell within the Eye wish to ever see a resurgent Third. Though with the upcoming Emperor's Children release in 2025, That very well may be what is about to happen.
Wait, this is a new book? Wait, there's like a new part coming out? Uh-oh.
Which, of course, when it does, I will make a follow-up video.
Of
At the end
course.
of all this, I just want to state for the record that the Legion Wars is easily in my top 3 events that I want Games Workshop to dedicate more time to fleshing out. As it stands, the bulk of what we are told about them serves the simple narrative purpose of an origin story for the Black Legion and Abaddon's rise to power, which, as far as backstories go, it's a great one. But I feel there's so much more that the Black Library could do with this time period. This was a time that redefined the Traitor Legion's identities, their philosophies, and molded them into the heretics we know today. It was a time of feuding warbands and barbarian hordes set in a demonic realm of impossibility. It was a time of survival, revenge, and, for some, redemption. All while these battles raged, the Imperium slept. They licked their wounds and began to embrace the seeming impossibility of peace. All for that to shatter when the Traitor Legions returned, in Black and Gold Reborn. To end this video, I want to leave you with one final passage that may at first seem to be a little out of place, but I think it's important. It comes from the second book in the Fabius Bile trilogy, wherein he makes what many consider to be the perfect clone of Fulgrim. The clone wants to go back out and start leading the Emperor's children again, to get them back on the right track, but Fabius refuses him. The clone looks at him and asks him point blank, "Well, then why did you make me?" Fabius hesitated. He looked away, studying Fulgrim's distorted reflection in the polished surface of the nutrient tanks. In the end, he decided on honesty. "At first, it was to see if I could. Then it was because I thought it was necessary." He let slip a bitter chuckle. "We were lost in those days, without true guidance, reacting instead of acting, descending into barbaric excess, even as we shed all pretense of organization and discipline."
Yo, weshammer. Yo, I just want to say real quick, and I know this video about to be over. weshammer, bro, you are in your bag, bro. Whenever it comes to voice acting, bro, I don't know if I think this is you, because I can like kind of hear your voice in like the acting, bro. Bro, you're in your bag, bro. You are in your bag, bro. Listen, I just have to say that real quick. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let it play.
"Without Fulgrim, without you, we were rudderless. Some tried to steer the ship regardless, myself included. And we failed." He looked at Fulgrim. "I created you to save us, as I created your brothers, Horus, Lorgar, even Angron. I thought that by giving our brothers back their fathers, I might halt the Legion Wars and unite us once more." "Why?" asked the clone. Again, Fabius hesitated. He smiled sadly. "I thought there was something worth saving. Now I know better. We are failed experiments. All that remains is to learn what can be learned and begin again."
Okay. Oh, snap, man. Shout out to weshammer, man, brother, for this video. I can't lie to you. That was so much to take in. Bro, my brain is like, okay, all right, cool. All right, he said this. Okay, accept that. Okay, boom. Like, my brain is like slowly like it's trying its best to keep up. Like, listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I promise you, I know a few things or two, man. Comment down below what do you guys think about this, man. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Make sure you guys follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/KingIndy with 2 Y's. And last but not least, man, shout out to weshammer. Go check him out in the description down below. I'm just gonna get everything out.